Hello, hello. Hey, Sinestella. It is Monday afternoon. We're going to do some light work, I think. Mostly chill stuff. There was something about a wind shader they had written down, and I kind of want to look at this. Yeah, posting it here for reference. Saw this shader, which makes things sway as if affected by wind. Let's go take a look. Yeah, I want to see how this thing operates. Because maybe it works for a top-down sort of effect. Maybe it doesn't. Got distracted. Where do we save the rest of this stuff? Outline shader. Copy. Save here as sway.gd shader. Okay, let's just cram this on some tree over here. How do we want to do this? It's got to be on individual objects, right? We can't just put it on a tile map. I mean, I guess we could put it on a tile map. We probably don't want to do that. What would happen if we did that? I'm very curious. I don't see anything happening. Yeah, it might only affect something that unknown identifier world matrix. What is that? This isn't even a thing you can use, right? Has anyone commented on this? It's renamed a model matrix. Okay. Good to know. Hey, okay, so we got some like little weird sway going on here. And I'm seeing some tearing here. You can see the lines in between tiles. But yeah, I guess you wouldn't apply this to a tile. So let's take this off of here. And let's also upvote that comment. Yeah. Yeah, I have it on the whole environment. I know. I just want to see what would happen if we did that. All right, let's try this way. Let's add a sprite 2D and give it an Atlas sprite, Atlas texture, and then load in Atlas. We're going to load in something that's got trees here. Or actually, I guess ground sprites. Yeah, this will work. Okay, and then I want to select that bit. Be nice if there was some way to open this up in an editor so I could actually see. Can't do that. Seem to remember something about that. Hey, wait, there's a tile set here. What is this even for, though? I think it's some other thing. I don't know what this is for. Okay, well, then let's just load this up, I guess. Ground. Ground sprites. Hey, Boomer. Happy afternoon. Although it's already afternoon for you, I believe. All right, so it's like somewhere around here. So 416, 288. Yeah, those are exactly correct. 416, 288. And then 48, 48. Yeah, nice. So we got a tree. Cool. Now we want to apply this thing. This will probably fail because we need to crop this, I'm guessing. Well, it works. It just doesn't work for this style of game. We need it to sway differently. It is swaying. Just not in a way that makes sense. Hey, Leap Year, welcome back. Eastern Time, slogging through video edit. I remember you saying on one of your streams something like, paradoxically, sticking to a schedule has led to fewer viewers. I think that growing on Twitch is a matter of advertising outside of Twitch. I know it sounds kind of sucky, but like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, probably. I think you need to pull people in from other platforms now. And I think that wasn't always the case. And it's not guaranteed to be the case here. I think it's just hard to get started as a new streamer. Everything is saturated now. So this just changes the X vertex of this. How is this supposed to look good? Several parameters to control: speed, interval, detail, distortion, height offset. By default 0. Okay, we could, I guess, move it higher than this. Only one I don't do is Instagram. Gotcha. Yeah. There are ranges for this. I guess we could just modify this. This is not what I would expect. What is offset? Huh. Distortion. These parameters don't really seem to be having an effect. Interval. Yeah, weird. Am I even modifying the right thing? I should be. Strength scale 0. Yeah, this stuff is definitely having an impact. And then minimum and maximum strength. Whoa. Oh, I think I know what's going on. Okay, there. We can finally start to see the effect. Yeah, so the sway is happening when it's outside of this thing. And we want pretty much that to happen, but in place. Looks good to me. The trees are swaying. Yeah, I'm not sure how you would customize this. Like this square behind my head is swaying the way I would expect this to work, but it's like it's not anchored to the right spot. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe we need this thing to be like the offset to be positioned down here. So we do something like that. Okay, yeah, I think that was it. Is that looking better? No, it's still moving. What is this software? This is Godot, that game engine. Feel like I'm being hypnotized. Well, this is not exactly the effect that I wanted, and I'm not sure if we can achieve it with this specific texture. Like, I don't want it moving to the side when I do this stuff. And I don't think there's an easier way to... Yeah, I don't think there's an easy way to control this through here. All right, let's set this to 1,000 again. Okay, that's a little bit better. Yeah, that's kind of like what I want. So we do just need a height offset here. And we need this set to... Strangely enough, lower than 0.33 makes it wiggle on the bottom. So we need something like this, and then to set the strength to some like super high number. There. That kind of works, right? And then we just apply that to like every single thing we have. I'm gonna take a screenshot of these properties. And I'm gonna put this over here. Note, make sure to change world matrix to model matrix. These parameters look good for trees. 48 by 48 trees. And is the offset even necessary? What if I just get rid of the offset? Yeah, it still looks fine. So we don't need to worry about that. Interesting. So we have no easy way of testing this on all of the trees, though. At best, we could try to put them... We could try to put this on the node. I don't think it's going to work. Where are the trees? Here. Yeah, we could try to put it on here. Shader material. Quick load and sway. It's not actually going to make any of this stuff move, right? No, it's not. Yeah, I don't think it's ever going to look good. We'd have to change... We'd have to probably put this on each individual tree. Because you can see here, this thing is moving. Did I end up writing a custom shader? No, no, no. I just took one from the Godot asset thing. GodotShaders.com. Use a scene collection instead of a tile atlas and apply the shader to the scene instead. Use a scene collection? Is that what it said? What even is a scene collection? I've never heard of that. Tile set scenes collection source. Exposes a set of scenes as tiles for a tile set resource. This isn't even what we would want. But I didn't know this existed, which is kind of interesting. Collection. Instead of a tile atlas and apply the shader to the scene instead. Okay, I guess I understand what they're saying here. So it's pretty much like go make a tree. So basically save this that we have. So we'll call this, actually we'll just make this the root. And we'll call this tree. Then save this, just tree.scene. And then we somehow use that collection thing that we just saw. Tile set scenes collection source. When placed on a tile map doesn't even exist anymore. Tiles from this will automatically instantiate an associated scene. Can we do this? Tile map collection. It's not a node. What is this inherit from? Tile set source. Oh, interesting. Oh, I see. Okay. So then we could make a new scene over here and add a tile map layer. And its source is a scene selection source, right? Tile set source. Isn't that what this is? Strange. Go to spreadsheet, use select, and click on one of the tree tiles. Then in tile set inspector, there's a slot for a material that'll apply to all trees. Not sure if that's something we want. Okay, yeah, we could try that. We have like this tree, for example. Rendering. Material, new shader material. Sway. Well, well, well. Interesting. Yeah. So we could set that to have the right shader parameters here, which is what, like 10,000, a height offset of 0.45 or something like that. Well, well, well. Yeah, interesting. Very interesting. What number can I set this to make it look the best? I think if we up the strength by even more, you can see how much this thing is moving by. But its height offset is set so high that it's not doing anything. Yeah, yeah, dancing trees. Hey, Remy. How good it looks when they all move at the same time. You can probably set some like randomness to this. Although you probably want them to move very similarly because it'd be wind affecting them. I mean, I know they wouldn't all move in sync, but at least like they'd move in the same direction and with the same general speed. Yeah, we'd also have to apply this to everything. Can I just copy this for now? Copy. Paste. All right, let's get this on all of the trees and just see how this looks. All right. So now pretty much every tree should be swaying. They're not all swaying. Why wouldn't these? I pasted them just like I pasted all the other ones. Unless there's another tree object that's being used. No. Weird. Right? Like that tree should be swaying. And that one I did not paste for, so let's paste that one in. So now this one should be swaying. I think this needs to have a lower height offset, so we need to make this unique. And then choose a height of 0.35, for example. Yeah, it's not good enough. 0.4, still not right. That's better. But why don't these work? It's the same size as the other ones. Huh. I don't see this doing anything. Oh, now it's working. Okay, so weirdly enough, this needs to be a different value. I don't know why, though. Did you give Kit one of the Skeleseller hoodies? No. He was wearing the Linus hoodie, which is probably higher quality than this anyway. But also, I didn't want him to feel obligated or anything. Like now he's got to wear a Skeleseller hoodie. Does the height depend on the position in the sprite sheet? It's possible that it does, although I'm still not totally sure what this height even represents. Height offset. The height where the wind begins to move. Float wind. Oh yeah, maybe these are texture coordinates. Looks comfy. Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah. I think the Linus ones are very expensive though in general. Yeah, uv.y. Okay. So that explains this. And that's why this height offset seems pretty arbitrary. So we need to apply this set of parameters to all of these. So copy and paste. Why is paste so hard to find? Ah, there it is. So we're doing this very, very hastily and hackily just so that we can figure out, does this effect even look good? And then what is this one set to? This is 0.45 and this was 0.5. So we need to subtract 0.05 from this. There. All right, let's just run the game and see what happens. Oh man, this looks terrible. I think because of the... Oh, it actually doesn't look too bad when you zoom in. Although it's still a weird effect. But when you zoom out, the way it's updating is just very bizarre. And I think we have snap to pixel set for something. And that's probably why it looks so weird. We have a viewport somewhere here. This doesn't have snap 2D transforms. Like it's pretty smooth when you're zoomed in. And even once you get to here, it's doing this like shimmering effect. And part of the reason why is probably just that this is pixel art and it's not intended to look good at any angle. And it might have to do with a filter as well. Hey, get them too. Man, yeah, it's distracting right now. Oh, also the apples don't move. That's another problem. Although I don't know what we do about that. We'd have to sync the swaying of the tree with the position of the apple. Or just not have some of these be affected by wind. It's like they're singing without sound. Like Origami King. There's the singing trees in the forest. Okay, yeah, so what could we do about being zoomed out? I think nothing really. Yeah, I think the problem is that these graphics just don't lend themselves well to swaying when zoomed out. And I don't know what we would do about that. Let's turn off the Let's turn this off. Snap 2D transforms to pixel. I don't think that should have an impact at all because I think the viewport overrides that. Yeah, it still looks strange. And we can turn these on here, which I still don't think would really have an impact. Wait, did it? It does look like it had an impact. Hang on a second. Let me turn this off now. All right, so now it's off. Yeah, it is. Snap 2D vertices to pixel. Okay, that does make it look better. And what about the transforms? Transforms don't matter. Okay, so if you have snap 2D vertices to pixel, then this looks a bit better. So we could technically put all of the trees in their own viewport that has this thing set. Now I think the characters should look a little bit weird as they're moving. It doesn't look like they're weird. How is that not breaking everything? If true, vertices of canvas item nodes will snap to full pixels. Only affect final vertex positions, not the transforms. Lead to crisper appearance at the cost of less smooth movement, especially when smoothing is enabled. I don't see these characters moving weirdly, though. I just see that the trees look slightly better now. Hey, Captain Krabs. Huh. I think this is one of those things I'm just never going to settle on. Yeah, the day's going pretty well. It's been a pretty good Monday so far. What we're trying to figure out right now is we're getting the trees to sway as though there's wind. But it's not super convincing right now. And when zoomed out, I guess now when zoomed out, it's kind of fine. There are still some sort of weird things happening, like whatever that is. Oh, is that another tree behind the tree in front? Is that what's swaying? If there are two trees there, then this does not look that strange. But I can't really tell what's going on. So let's go back into the environment node and see what's going on there. How do we even find that? It's, I don't even remember where it is. There. So it's to the left of the portal. It's like right at the corner of the Armorsmith path. So right there. Is there a tree behind this one? Let's go to this. Okay, so we're in the right place. Now we just right click that. Yeah, there is. Okay, then never mind. That looks fine. I just thought it looked weird that there's like a hat on this tree. Is it only scaling the sprites but not their movement? It's just distorting the vertices, I believe, that we're using to render the sprites. So it's not even really scaling them. Unless you're talking about the zoom that you mean. But yeah, this is just changing the vertex coordinates that we have. That's a pretty simple shader, actually. I think the effect is hard to notice when zoomed in. The swaying effect? I think it still looks good. I mean, the snapping for the walking sprites. Oh. You're saying you can see it better when zoomed out? Because I don't see it at all for some reason. And I think maybe it's because we have two different kinds of snapping. And it's not the snapping that makes it look bad. Hopefully. Let's take a look. So if I say snap transforms to pixel, yeah, now they look jittery. But if I just snap vertices to pixel, it's fine. We could just leave that setting on then, and the trees would look okay. Hey, Lazy Dev. I might as well edit this. Note that the height offset is based on the texture's position in a texture atlas, in the atlas. So it would be different for two identical trees that show at different Y positions in the underlying PNG. Also, what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, yeah. We need to enable this in the town's viewport. This won't cause jittery NPC movement. That's this one that does that. Yeah, so the only question is how do we actually get this to look decent? Oh yeah, there's other things I gotta write down, like apples don't sway. All right, so nodes, the height offset. Then this, apples don't move with the sway. So apple trees would need some special code to move the apples or have them sway too. Or put them in a canvas group or something. Can you randomize the start offset? We could pass in a uniform that just adds some like random time here. In fact, weirdly enough, time is lowercase. Oh, because they pass it in. And here's time times speed. Oh, I see. That's what offset's supposed to be. You can make different moves for each asset. Just put a random value, 1, 2, 3. Don't forget to mark the material as unique. Yeah, okay. So that's how we do this. Although we'd want it per tree, I guess, which means we would need to pass in a uniform for each of these. Because what we can do right now is we can set it so that each individual tree type, like this style of dark green tree, will have one time associated with it. Yeah, so check this out. So let's click this, make this unique, go into its shader parameters, and set its offset to 2. So now it's moving slightly differently from the other ones. You can see that happening. And we'd go into each of these and we make them all unique and change the parameters. So this one would be like 4 or something like that. And then this, make unique 5. I'm going to do this with a few of them. Shaded parameters. Let's set this to 6. All right, how's that? Did that already update or no? No. Hey, on often. Imagine alternate tiles will allow us to use 2 different offsets for the same thing. Yeah, that's possible too. Although setting a uniform for all of them shouldn't be too bad. It just gets set once, and then they just have some random offset. In fact, then we can just apply it to literally everything. So now we have some slightly different swaying. Should be higher on the smaller ones, lower on the bigger trees. But doesn't this still kind of just look dumb? I don't know. Like, it's not. It's just kind of distracting because now there's movement everywhere. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I also kind of want to try it on the flowers and see what those look like. Let's go apply it to like one set of flowers. Does it look dumb because you're not used to it? I don't think so. I don't think that's the reason why. It's constant. We should make it stop for a while. Yeah, or have it be affected by where the mouse is moving or something. Like if you move the mouse over the trees, then they sway. Yeah, we could enable the zoom or the swaying at different zoom levels. Yeah. Although it's possible then that people just never even see it. It's also possible it looks a little strange that when you're zoomed out, everything is static. And when you're zoomed in, then there's noticeable sway. You might be like, what is that, just a bug? So yeah, I think not having it be constant could be one thing. And I think potentially doing this based on where the mouse is could be interesting. Although that involves us checking collision against like every single tile in the tile map. All right, where are our flowers that we have? Just find any arbitrary flower on here. There's one. Actually, right beneath the portal there are some. Let's go put this on the portal ones. Where's the portal? There it is. Okay, so there's a flower. All right, so we're going to take that blue flower here. Click this. Go find where that came from. I guess paste in the same material we had over here. And then make it unique. And then modify it. Most notably, we need to change the height of this thing. It looks better with flowers, right? Because I guess flowers look like they should be swaying by that much. Let's see what that's like in the game. It's only the blue flowers. No, that looks stupid still. Yeah. I think another part of it is it's the only place where we do this kind of rotation. We're essentially skewing the vertices that we're rendering. And we don't use this technique anywhere else. And maybe with flowers, it would kind of just fade into the background and you wouldn't really see it or care too much. Yeah, I think it's at least more convincing there. We should probably apply this to crops. Well, then we have a mega shader we've got to apply. That'll be fun. Yeah, maybe with crops it would make sense. You have to apply it to everything inside of this. I think it'd be annoying. All right. I'm probably not going to do anything for this for right now. Because I'm just not sold on this. I got to write another note of how we even apply this. Go into the tile set. Select a tile and then rendering a material. Set this for trees in the tile set. Light green trees. Click the tile set and select a tile. Go to rendering, material, and set up the material. The offset in the shader is just to offset the time a bit. So pick any random number you want to have different tiles swaying at different times. So there's an interval here. Where's that? That's the interval of the sine wave itself. There's a speed as well. Speed of the wind movement. We don't have something that makes it pause every once in a while, which we could do. It wouldn't be hard to do. And I guess the random strength is how we would get this to look a little better for each individual tree. Min strength. This is just multiplied by... No, it's added. Times strength scale. Interesting. Okay, so we'd make these things a little bit bigger or a little bit different. And I'll multiply this one by 2 and divide this one by 2. This is only for this one tree that I have. So we need to put down like 1,000,000 of these trees to see how it looks. So now they should all be swaying in slightly different ways. Is that apparent? I have no idea. They all look the same to me. Hmm. All right, let's multiply this by 10 and divide this by 10. Well, now it's a max strength of 0. I guess this needs to be some number that can actually work in Godot. There. And max strength of 5. Oh, you can't even set a max strength of 5. I have to modify the shader for that. Yeah, I don't know what effect this is having. Let's just start this, I guess. I think the randomness is on running it. Like here, they're barely moving. And I think if I run it again, it's going to be randomly just a different value. Because they're all using the same shader. They're still barely moving. I think you're setting max and min the opposite way. Yeah, that's probably it. Yeehaw. They're not different, though. They're still using the same values. And I guess that makes sense that all shaders with the same type would have the same uniform. Yeah, I think when zoomed in, this looks weird. I think for flowers, they just need to have some like little bouncy animation. And we could just do that with pixels. Just move the flower itself up by 1 pixel or down by 1 pixel. I think that would look good. It makes me wonder if we had an animated tree as a sprite and not as a shader. Yeah, maybe just doing this once every 10 or 20 seconds is all that it takes. So basically the way I think we would do that is we would just modify the strength scale through Godot. So let's take a look. Let's try with just these trees here because I don't want to do this for everything. I'm still just testing things out. So we take this, we set the strength scale. It's currently what, 10,000? Let's set it to 1. We should see these things like not even move. And then as we increase this number, there's no way to increase this by larger amounts. But yeah, as we increase this number, it's like slowly getting windier. And now we eventually get it up to like, I'm just going to type it in, 10,000. We eventually get up to 10,000. They're moving like how they normally would. Maybe for this one, we set it to even 50,000 or something. Then the wind slows down and we set it to, 25,000 and then to 12,500 and about 6,000, so on and so forth. So yeah, that could work. We probably want to modify the strength scale. What is that? This. In the shader so that it increases for anything affected by wind. But it only does so every so often. That way it doesn't look like it's just constantly windy. The shader uniform can be tweened. I mean, we could try it for just this, maybe. How do we even get this shader material? I wonder how you do that. You probably have a way through the tile set of this. How do we do that? Because like this set of trees is also swaying, and I never modified this because the tile set itself is the same. Yeah, so like the blue flowers over here should also have it. They do. So it's the tile set itself, and then there must be a way to get an individual tile's material. Does it have a copy property? It's a good call, but it just says material. Yeah. All right, well, let's figure it out. We need to get that tile set. Let's go find out how we do this. Environment. So we need the tree layer, which we don't have. At least not that one. Let's just get this then. We'll call this Testeroni. Okay, so tile map layer Testeroni equals get. Sure. Now there should be a way to get the tile set. Yeah, but there isn't just one tile set, is there? Oh, I guess there is one tile set, but the tile sets have multiple sets of tiles. Tile layout. Tile set is a library of tiles. Tile set handles a list of tile set source. Ah, tile set source is what I want. So I want like a get source. We have it. Okay, cool. And then how do we know what the source ID is? Because the IDs are right there in the editor, I think. We're supposed to be able to get this somehow in here. Here it is. And now we need the ID. There's a way to do this. Setup? There it is. 1. Okay, 1. That's what we want. So get source 1. Tile set source. Now we want to get the material, get rendering, get tile. How do you get information about a tile? Oh, this needs to know that it's an atlas, maybe? So there are some things that inherit from tile set source? No. Expose a set of tiles. Tiles in a source are indexed with 2 IDs, coordinate ID and an alternative ID. Huh. Add source and get tile ID. This is just a vector 2D anyway, isn't it? Yeah, or a vector 2i. I don't know what I said. I don't think this is the way we'd go about getting this then. Do get tile from tile set source. How to get single tiles. Get the tile set source, then assuming you retrieved it as a tile set atlas source. Okay, I see. You can access its texture. That's why I was trying to figure out what inherits from this thing. Tile set source. We know it's an atlas source. Yeah, I guess it's the only real thing. There's also the scene collection source, which maybe trees fit into that. Yeah, because this isn't going to have a material on it. So it's this, and this has a material? No. But maybe this gets tiles and the tiles have it? Get tile set scene. Okay, no, we don't have that. I guess we have this one. So this must have a way of getting a tile. Tile data. It must be this. This has a, yep, there it is. Okay, great. Well, we're getting there. All right, so there's the source. We need to cast this, presumably. Then we want to get a tile in here, get tile data. And we get this based on the atlas coordinates. So let's go find this. It doesn't tell me what the coordinates are. Oh, there we go. 2918. New vector 2i. 2918. All right, what are the other parameters of this? And an alternative tile. I don't know what that even means. Alternative ID. I don't know what that is. I'm just going to set this to 0. Cannot declare a variable of static type tile data. Oh, what does this return? Returns tile data. Unsafe. Oh, interesting. Oh, we have our own thing called tile data? Oh, whoops. Okay, that's fine. All right, so now with the data, we get the material and we get the... We need to know this is a shader material. Dot set uniform set shader param. Oh, we're getting there. All right, so now this is called what? Strength scale. Yeah, let's just set this to, I don't know what, 50,000. Okay, and then in the editor, we'll set it to something really tiny so that we can tell that it did something. So it's currently set to 1. Yeah, so it's set to almost nothing. So if we run this and we see those trees swaying, then we know that we did this right. Great. Next, we want to tween this. Tween. Okay, so it's just create tween on something. All right, so tween equals create tween property Godot tween shader parameter. Oops. Oh, well, there we go. Got to material : shader parameter / parameter name. Sure. Oh man. All right, so what is this? Material shader parameter strength scale from 0 to 50,000. And then shouldn't you give this a duration? Oh, that is a duration. So 50,000 is the final number. And we're going to tween it over 10 seconds and then get rid of this. Okay, let's try it. So we should see it slowly pick up over the course of 10 seconds. This is doing nothing. Which probably means we got the wrong path. Tween property does not exist in shader material. Yeah, we got to figure out what this thing is supposed to be. Where's my standalone tree? If we just copy this, for example, what does it think it is? Shader parameter / strength scale. Did I type that correctly? Whoops. Oops. Did not mean to do that. Shader parameter, yeah. Strength scale, yeah. And material : maybe we don't need it for that because we already had the material specified. Yeah, just data. Oh, there we go. All right, so it slowly picks up. And then we can have it drop back down after some time and loop. Some way to make tweens loop. Where do we do this? On the indicator thing that we have. Here it is. Set loops 0. That just means it's going to loop infinitely, right? An animation twice, 0 looped. Make it run infinitely. Yeah. All right, I don't know what's going to look good, but again, we're just kind of testing this out. So we're going to say set loops 0. So we tween to that over 10 seconds, then probably stay there for a bit. There's some way to delay this. I always forget how to do that. Delay. Set delay. Okay, that's easy. So maybe it sways for 5 seconds, then it fades out. We can't tween property on that again. The set delay not return a tween? It does. Well, we should have another tween property on this then. Why don't we? Huh. Think you want set interval? I think it's just set delay. Oh no, you're right. Yeah, it's something else. But I don't know if it's set interval. Godot tween wait or delay. How to make it so tween waits for an animation. Hey, Fleet. Tween interval. That's what it's called? God, why do I never remember the name of this property? I still can't find it. I have no idea where this is. I'll just have to like do it on this. Ah, there it is. Tween interval. Okay, yeah. So wait here for like 5 seconds. And then tween it again down to 0. And then wait there for 15 seconds or something. All right, so that's it. It should hopefully loop. Let's try it out. Maybe it looks good, maybe it doesn't. We're only really looking at this couple of rows of trees. So they sway in the breeze for a bit, then they slow down. Then it picks up again. And then it slows down. Should be waiting longer in between these things, right? And now it's waiting. Means I messed something up then. But it should pick up again in like 5 more seconds, right? Yep. Okay. Eh, all right. That's pretty much what I wanted. I think. I don't think it worked exactly how I expected. I'm not totally sure why, because this all looks fine to me. Take 10 seconds to go to 50,000. Stay there for 5 seconds. Take 10 seconds to go down to 0. Stay there for 15 seconds. I thought it did something weird at the beginning. Does set loops apply to everything? It looks like it did, yeah. Hey, Neochromer. Is the merch buyable? Yeah. For the hoodie, you'll just have to search Amazon for a Skeleseller hoodie. It's hard for me to share links directly to that. Okay, so it looks like this is slowing down immediately. And that's what I don't understand. Then it picked up immediately. And then it does all the stuff that I wanted to do. Yeah, I don't totally understand why that's happening. It's just the beginning that seems somewhat random. But it doesn't really matter. We could eventually figure that out. Yeah, the question is, do we want this sort of thing? Because we could have this work for every single shade or material that we have. We could also set random offsets right in the code. In fact, you know what? Why don't we try that? Because why not? Except for the heights need to be set correctly. But we can figure out the heights directly from where this thing is in the Atlas texture. All that sounds like it'll be annoying to do. And I don't want to work on that just yet. Got a shirt. Wow, that was fast. Thank you. I do have the revenue share set pretty much as low as possible so that I get like a couple of pennies or something based on you purchasing that. That way it's just people who want merch can get the merch. And if, you end up sharing Skeleseller with someone else as a result, then I guess that's great. But yeah, thank you. I do appreciate it. So if we want to set this on everything, then what we need to do is get the coordinates of all of the different trees that we just set. It's not that hard to do. So this is 2618. So let's get a vector2i list all chords or all trees equals new. So 26, 29, 32, 26, 29, 32, and presumably 35. No, 34 because it's thinner. And did I put it on a tiny one? I did. 36. Wait, that's 19. I typed the wrong coordinate. How is this? Huh, that's weird. How's that offset down by 1? That's strange. That one has a y coordinate of 19. Maybe it's measuring the top of it? Oh yeah, it might be measuring the top. And you just grab it by the bottom. Or maybe you grab it by anywhere. But yes, that's probably what's happening. All right, so the last one is 3619. Look at the shirt. Go to an interview. Someone will recognize it, I guess. That is quite the long shot of anybody recognizing Skeleseller. I don't really wear this hoodie out, but I did the other day, and I passed by a good 5 or 10 people, and not a single person said, "Hey, that's my favorite game in the world." Should have been a 100% chance of that occurring. All right, 26-21. We got to get all these now. Someday. That is some thorough sampling. I mean, that's basically everybody. These probably all just go to 21, and this one probably just goes to 22. Yeah, I'm just going to assume that's right. All right, next up. Next, we iterate over all these for each vector 2i tree in all trees. This is the tree coordinates. Then we want to set the offset to just a random number, I guess. Yeah. gd.rand range 0, 5, 6. I don't know. All right, let's try that out. All right, this suggests that I have done something terribly wrong. Oh, wait a second. I see. I set a scale of like 50,000, which means that some of these trees are going to sway very wildly. Oh, man. It should be 10,000. How do you select the text inside the quotation marks? I don't tend to, I just tend to do like Alt Shift right or left, but I actually could press, I have a shortcut to select everything inside parentheses or something. The name of that shortcut is expand selection. I do not use Vim key bindings, no. So yeah, if you want to set expand selection, you can just keep pressing it. Get the word, then the string, then the entire thing in parentheses, then the whole line, then the line with the white space, then the function body, and so on and so forth. It just keeps expanding outward. All right, so we did everything the way I kind of wanted to. Let's set this to 10,000, I guess, and I'll just delete those other trees that we had. These ones. Oh, you know what we could do? We could just change the strength. Yeah, what am I doing? Let's do that. All right, so what is this? Minimum is... Oh, they have the minimum and maximum set backwards. Huh. That's strange, right? Why do they do that? Min, let's set it like that and that. And then just overwrite them anyway. Which one's swaying like a reasonable amount? Are those good? Yeah, let's take that one then. So whatever it's using, we'll just copy those. So it's those same numbers, 0.01 for min strength. This is not how I want to do this. This is going to be 0.01. Max is going to be 0.05. Anything else I want to set here? Not really. What does detail even do? The detailed number of waves of the wind movement? What happens if we crank that up? I don't know if I'd even notice that. 1,000. Oh, wow. What does this look like at less extreme numbers? Oh, I see. I see what this is doing. Okay. Every 10,000th person should recognize my shirt. That's probably about right. Okay, so they all should eventually get synchronized in terms of how hard the wind is blowing, but just not in terms of the direction. I'm waiting for them to stop. They're almost stopped. Okay, they stopped. So now there's no movement on the entire map. And we're just playing the game. We wait a long enough time, though. And all of a sudden, do you hear that wind ambience? I was too soon. By like 10 seconds. Oh, there it goes. They've started swaying in the wind. All right, so they sway for a little bit. Then they should eventually stop. Seems not available in the Netherlands. The merch, because I think there are only like 5 Amazon stores you can set up merch for, or something like that. So I think the Netherlands should be picking from one of the nearby ones. And if they're not available, then I don't think I have any control over it. Yeah, yeah, the merch. Yeah, I think it's like Italy, Germany, France, Spain, Japan. Let me take a quick look. Oh God, how do I do this? Switch accounts. Okay, hang on. This is a waste of time. Let me do this over here. All right, Amazon merch. Sign in. Let me see. Yeah, I think those are the only ones I can set. See, oh no, in UK. Yeah, I think it's 6. Well, and technically I guess the US as well, so 7. But I don't think I can set them in any arbitrary country. Then when login didn't work, I try again tomorrow. No, don't worry about it. I don't know how this stuff typically works. Because it's like what what like Neochroma just said. There's no specific Austria setting, so the German one happened to work for that. And I don't know what people in the Netherlands typically do for merch, at least. And then there are other websites entirely that I could sign up for. And I only signed up for, I think, what's it called? Like Zazzle or something. I don't remember the name. And only for a mug, and really only for Dark Store. Usually order from the .de Amazon, it's fine. Yeah. Okay, so how do we feel about what I have done? Is this worth kind of trying out or keeping in the game? Again, most of the time the trees are going to be static, but then after a long enough amount of time, they'll start swaying. And we can make them sway a little bit more convincingly. We could modify the shader, but is it worth keeping this general effect? I like it. Really brings some things to life. Because the way we've done this is not very high effort. I mean, we need to polish it a bit. That would be probably not hard work, but a decent amount of just like tweaking things and seeing how it looks. And I like that it's not constant. Every once in a while, you see this happen. And you're like, what is that? Am I seeing that correctly? I mean, like the flowers a little. Yeah, yeah. So like the polish level stuff we'll still need to do, of course. But when you're zoomed out like this, are you going to be like, what in the world am I seeing right now? Because yeah, when zoomed out, it does look a little bit strange. And we could kind of tone that down. Disable on zoom out. I think it looks fine. Okay. Yeah, so pretty much just polish this sort of thing. All right. And then I wonder what we should do about all the little plants and stuff and even bushes. Because we could apply this to pretty much everything in there. In fact, we could just dynamically create the shaders at runtime and not even need to set them through the editor. And the reason why we might do that is because right now, whenever I go to a different scene, like I click town, there's a big loading bar. I don't think that loading bar used to exist. Although maybe that's just because I made the change once. Like if I close town and reopen it, does it show that loading bar? No, it doesn't. Okay, then yeah, maybe it's fine either way. Are you applying a wind vector to an area of trees or each tree individually? Every single tree in the entire game is just getting some sway on it. We could have this work in slightly different ways. We could, yeah, there are a lot of different things we could do potentially. I don't think it's worth putting a ton of time into it. It's just to add a little bit of movement to the game, a little bit of liveliness. I wonder if with the music it helps to imagine. We still have to fix the Apple things too. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, we've made some progress with this. I want to put this somewhere, but it's not done yet. And I don't really want to finish it right now. So maybe I'll put this in a different branch. Yeah. So we don't need this to be here. Snap 2D transforms to pixel. Doesn't matter. The tree scene we never even used. World.tres added a shader to a bunch of things. Then we added the shader here, sure. Environment got this added into a few different nodes. To actually delete environment data from this? I must have. I must have changed something. But it's impossible to tell from this what that is. I deleted something. Those are gone. They should be gone, right? I think maybe I forgot to save. No, I don't think I forgot to save. They're gone. Maybe this didn't know that I saved. No, I don't know. And then what's in here? Yes, that's needed. And then this, of course, is the code to add these things. So this is the only part I don't understand is what happened here. And this is inside my trees layer. Tile map data changed somehow. What we could do is we could just revert this line and figure out what happens. Yeah. All right, let's try it. Hope I don't hate myself for doing this. So there's a backup of what we had. Now we're just going to click this button and see what happens. Looks good to me. Who has any idea what that did? Authority. Yeah. No clue. Yeah, so I'll check this in on a branch. Let's go do that. Git checkout -b swaying trees. And then we'll check all this stuff in. Why is tree still there? Go away. Move to trash. I think something's recreating it. Oh, I think I put those tree objects inside the environment. Maybe that's what we were seeing. If I click this, is it going to recreate it? It probably will. I don't exactly know why that's happening though, because no, it hasn't recreated it. Okay, so what if I run from here? Something's going to probably cause this to reappear. No, it's back. Okay. The other day I had to struggle with that. All right, yeah. So we added this stuff in. We added the shader. Modified the environment slightly, but not as much as I did originally. And set up all this stuff. Yeah, let's check this in. So we don't need this anymore. Add proof of concept of swaying trees. All right, so publish that branch. Then I'll just write where this branch exists. Here. Actually, let's just get the commit directly. Okay. And then put a comment in our issue. All right, so I committed a test of this here. Still to do, and these are just my notes. Still to do, make this work for flowers, bushes, mushrooms, etc. Polish this a bit. The trees probably shouldn't all be swaying in exactly the same direction. I don't know, just polish this a bit. Yeah, what do we even need to do with that though? Oh yeah, and then fix apple trees. And maybe we want it to work for crops as well. Although crops would need a different uniform entirely because it would need a different shader. I don't think having it work for crops is necessary. Is there anything else we'd want to apply it to? Kind of just plant life, I think. Yeah, I think that would be fine. Yeah, I don't see anything else here. Yeah. The slimes. They ripple in the wind. Okay, cool. Update comment. Well, we tested that out. Is the water animated? Yeah, it is, but that's a sprite animation. And I like this. I think this is very fitting. So I don't want to do anything different with the water. All right, let's go back to main and let's work on some other stuff. I'm glad we gave that a shot. Yeah, nice. Okay. Make right-clicking a dialog button bypass the money requirement. I'm not going to do this, I think. I think being able to right-click money is fine for now. If anything, you know what maybe we should do is make it so that pressing like 0 on the keyboard gives you all the money you could ever want. Because I could easily press that with one hand. And it could just immediately set your max to like 99999. Actually, it is kind of nice now that I see this. Oh yeah, the height offset thing. Did I write that down? I did write that down. Yeah. All right, this has grown on me. And I like that it's not constantly happening. It's some swaying every once in a while. I want to see it happen again now. Good. Yes. Sway trees. I wonder if we should accompany this with some kind of wind effect. Because we probably have something. Let me take a look. Whoops. Wind. Oh, word wind appears in a lot of these things. Is there an ambient one? Window. Okay, let's just click one of these and see. Oh, sorry, that was way louder than I thought it would be. What does this one sound like? Yeah. So if we're gonna do this, if we're gonna play anything alongside it, then we should do this once every like 2 or 3 minutes, maybe. Hey, Coffee. How you doing? Do you want sound effect for the battle window toolbar? Oh yeah, I hadn't even looked into that. We have them for practically everything else. We'd have to play this pretty quietly. And I'd be on top of the music. Hey, C-Do. I've been pretty well. Things have been moving along smoothly enough. Where's the music? Why don't I hear music? Oh, there it goes. Can we buy sludge now? No. All right, so now imagine that combined with this. Oh my god. I don't think it works. I don't think you can play wind on top of the music. I think you need to probably cut the music and just have the wind. Yeah. I'll write that down. Game's made some incredible progress. Yeah. Yeah, it's been quite the trip. Let me write this note down over here. I tried. Where is this wind outside? I don't even know where this is located. No, turn it off, turn it off. Yeah. I tried manually playing this on top of the Skeleseller music while the wind was blowing in the game. But I think it's too distracting. Yeah. Okay, turn this off. Yeah. Anyway, the tree's moving. I think it's pretty nice. So yeah, I think polishing that up will be a nice little change. And ideally, it's not too much of an impact on performance. It's all happening on the GPU, and it's just moving some vertices. Well, it's not all happening on the GPU, I guess. We also have that tween happening from here, which is gone because I already deleted it. Well, whatever. Yeah. Yeah, anyway, there's been a lot of changes to Skeleseller. I don't know when the last time you were here is, Coffee, but we've added the farm to the game, the fishing pond. We've got the new enchanter graphics in the game. I think these look really good. There's the new battle map, of course. All the locations you can go to. And just a bunch of other little changes, like gameplay changes and stuff. And most, actually, I think everything that I just showed is on the newest demo. Because I think it published on Friday. I mean, definitely the farm, the fishing pond, and the enchanter would be. But I don't remember what other things I added in. Okay, so z-index of contextual tip. I kind of want to do something slightly different. I just don't know what right now. Like, I don't really want to work on these small things. And the battle map thing, too, could be interesting. I'm torn. Yeah, I'm torn. And there's a bunch of stuff to work through. Will do. Thanks. I think I want to call it. Like, I feel sluggish. I've been playing this game. What's it called? It's called Oh No. Yeah. I've been playing this game a little bit more. I played this a long time ago too. It's kind of an interesting game. Each blue number or each blue circle says how many other blue circles it can see. So like the 5 means it can see 5 other blue circles contiguously, and red stops their vision. And you have to fill in the whole board according to like satisfying those constraints. And I was playing this on my lunch break, and it was taking me a lot longer than it normally took. I was like, man, I wonder what causes this. Is it the lunch that I ate? Did I eat too much food? Is it the kind of food that I ate? Is it just I worked for 4 hours at a pretty good pace and then that was it? That was all the energy I had. So maybe, how about this? Let's tackle this, I suppose. Rework the cleric. Let's go look at the cleric in the game and see what skills she has. Okay, so Harmony. When casting heal on an ally, you also heal yourself based on the amount healed. I guess at a high level, the cleric is set up so that they heal, they cast a haste buff on your party, and then healing causes damage against enemies. This is the big question mark. Do people even want this? And I guess if we could, like, the original idea was that you would just tweak this however much you want to. So if you want, you could basically say the cleric is somewhere on a scale of like damage, and you could say that they're a little bit of damage and then healing. And you could say that they're like maxed out on healing, let's say. So you had certain skills you could tweak for these. But if no one's ever going to go all in on damage stuff, or no one wants that, like the first skill you get is, where is it? This one, Resonance, increased damage dealt. You might be like, well, that's not why I got the cleric. So I wonder if we should just do more along the lines of healing and less along the lines of dealing damage. I mean, the rest of this is all pretty much fine. This would no longer have as much synergy, I think. Although we could just keep it. So I think I kind of just want to change this, maybe, Resonance. And possibly Resonant Healing altogether. But then the cleric would have no way of dealing damage. So maybe we just change this one. Yeah. All right, so ideas. Remove Resonant Healing. And what's the other one called? Resonance? Or just remove Resonance. The cleric wouldn't be able to do damage at all. And here it would be the cleric couldn't buff their damage, which I don't think you'd ever want. It's not remove, it's replace with something else. Same thing with here. Replace this and this with something else. But should we make any other changes? Like this is definitely... Ooh, no, it's not fine anymore. Well, it's fine if we keep Resonant Healing, but then I don't think there's synergy with this Shield of Unity. But the Spirit Caller could get that. So maybe we replace that with something else. It's interesting, but it's not really all that helpful. This could just be you heal 2 allies. I'm kind of leaning toward this. Do people even expect the cleric to do damage? I will say, not many people seem to read the abilities when they get to the cleric. Like, people hire a new adventurer, and the very first thing they seem to do is like mash the level up button and then unlock a skill and then just get that skill. And they don't read their skills up here. The only thing that causes them to read them is if they unlock a skill and it says something like increased duration of Blessing of Haste, and they're like, that doesn't mean anything to me. Then they go up to here and they're like, okay, now it means something to me. So they almost never read this one, which tells you that you can do damage as a cleric. So people just don't even realize, I think, that their cleric does damage. And if they're not even realizing that it happens, then that means that they're not expecting it to happen, I guess. But I'm not sure what we would put here instead. Maybe we move Shield of Unity to be a passive. Or an innate skill, I mean. Like the cleric can't be targeted while you have living allies. and then add 2 other healing related skills. I just don't know what the healing related skills would be. Maybe healing an ally makes them take less damage for a little bit of time. You're mostly going to be healing one target because it's the one that's tanking. Is there something we could do that plays on that? Like healing overload after healing a target for like 200 life. Cast a shield on them or something. I like the shield ability. I mean, we could just turn this into a shield ability. Cast a shield that absorbs damage. So change Shield of Unity into a like an absorption shield. A damage absorption shield for the target. It could just be an ability that they use. Maybe they use it at random. I wanted overhealing to come into play. Can we do something with overhealing? Like maybe overhealing a target, shields. An ally. Because, yeah, the questionable skills are Shield of Unity, Resonance, and Resonate Healing. I like the idea of overhealing doing something. I wonder what. Do we have any other ideas in the design document for this? Healing a fish spawns another one. Well, if we do get rid of this resonant healing, the cleric can't do any damage. So against a fishing battle, they would last forever. They just keep healing themselves. And maybe we could write like some special rule for that, but I'm hoping you just realize, oh, they're not doing anything. They have no way of damaging. This would be a pretty stark change too. What was I going to do that I even just said? This is what I'm saying. I'm just like losing my train of thought. Oh yeah, the design document. Yeah, we had some healing stuff written in here. Anything we haven't used? Here it is. Heal whenever an active ability is used. This is like mental swiftness, but for healing. Grant lifesteal as a buff. When a character is at a low enough amount of life, heal them. It could be once per battle. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Something called like desperate heal. When a character is about to die, stop them from dying. Yeah, I like that. Specific ability ideas. Like desperate heal. When an ally is at less than X% life, heal them for Y%. This ability can only happen every so often, maybe once per battle. A heal that spreads its healing over the party in the way that's needed. We already did that. Self-regen, I think we have that. Damage dealt to enemies is distributed as healing to allies. It's kind of just life leech, not exactly. Overhealing applies an absorption shield. Overhealing damages enemies. Overhealing decreases cooldowns. The problem with overhealing is you only really do it at the very beginning of battle. Like if you overheal someone, it means they're already at max. So absorbing more damage is probably not what's needed. If anything, it would make them do more damage. Whatever it is that you just healed. Like increase their power for some amount of time. What's a resource instead of a cooldown? So you can save up heals. But even so, the way I'm still picturing it is the way that the battles work in this game, you'd be in a location, right? At the start of the battle, you'd always be at full life. As soon as they attack once or twice, you'll probably never be at full life again. So in this particular case, it's like saving up your heal didn't really mean anything. You're constantly healing anyway. And yeah, that's what I'm kind of struggling with. It's like that's why overhealing wouldn't really matter. And if you do have an ally that's at full life, shielding them might not mean anything if they're not going to take damage. So you'd want more like a progressive cooldown decrease or similar? Not necessarily. I think it's fine that they're just using heal every so often. I just think it's very hard to balance this. And I definitely want to get rid of all the damage stuff that this character does. So like, I think this is a pretty interesting idea. It's kind of like a premature revive. Reviving would be the character dies and then you summon them back to life. This is like the character can't die unless they took enough damage all at once. So yeah, I think this is kind of interesting. I wonder if there's also some other concept here we should do, like when the cleric takes enough damage, they start healing for more. Like that could be something interesting. Cleric heals for more when they're at low life. But then we have this ability. When casting heal on an ally, you also heal yourself. Maybe this has some built-in overhealing with it. Like if you overheal yourself, or like any overhealing is also dealt to the ally. That makes sense. Probably not. I think this would probably just be like you heal 2 allies at a time. Yeah, change harmony to be you heal 2 allies. 2 different allies. So this, if you have a party of 2, this is going to do nothing. Something like that. So heals for more when they're at low life. The way this is phrased, you would never get to low life. This thing is probably going to need to change. I think we need to do some kind of shield thing with it. I just don't know what. Yeah, because it's just used. It gets used whenever it's needed. So functionally, it's the same as really just healing another ally, except for it allows you to put them beyond their maximum life. Because there is one other tiny consideration here, which is I'd like to reuse the graphics that we have. So we need something that sort of fits like this theme, healing 2 characters. This kind of works. But we need something with a shield, I guess. I'm not sure what that's going to be yet. It could just be when you heal an ally, they it increases their damage mitigation for some amount of time or increases their fortitude. Create a damage absorption shield on the target. A lot of games do that. It just doesn't make sense for this to be in an automated game, I feel. Yeah. I don't think you're really going to notice it. We could have something like, oh no. I was going to say it'd be a damaging ability. Like if all of your allies are at full life, then damage an enemy. I don't think that really works. Is there anything we could do on damaging the cleric? If the cleric is expected to take some damage, they heal themselves with this, and then they also do something. Like every time the cleric is hit, give a damage absorption shield to an ally. Again, it's pretty similar to just healing them outright. Some of this stuff is like super overtuned, I think. Healing your party receives for 6 seconds. It's like super overtuned. What would be an interesting on hit thing? Like a percent chance on hit to heal an ally? That could be kind of interesting. X% chance when the cleric is hit to heal an ally. Oh, we had this already. Oh my god, we had reactive healing. I forgot all about that. But I think that was a guarantee. I don't think it was a guarantee. I think we like way toned it down. Remember that? Oh, man. Yeah, it was too overpowered. But that's back when the cleric did damage. Now, if they're only healing, it could make them semi-invincible. Although we could say that they can only heal other team members with it. We could force this to be other team members. We know for sure you're going to have other team members because otherwise there's no way you can't win a single battle with the cleric the way I'm trying to redesign them. So it's fair to make abilities that require other team members. Anything else we can do with this? I don't know. Well, okay, I like this idea. I think this is great. So that's at least one thing that we have going for us. Player healing more when they're at low life. Is that something that is interesting? We could use this bleeding heart icon. I don't think it's super interesting. Basically means when your cleric's about to die, your healing is going to get better. And you could heal yourself, which would then make your healing worse. So your cleric can't be the worst off in your party. We have a couple of things already that modify Blessing of Haste. The duration, increased healing, lifesteal. Desperate heal thing I think is good. Actually, if this is framed as a shield, then it'd be even better because someone like the warrior has damage reduction based on their life percent. So healing at that point is actually probably hurting them a bit. Not quite. And then preventing someone from dying is pretty interesting. Although once per battle is not so great. We could have it be a cooldown and the cooldown changes. Maybe once per battle or once every like 20 seconds. No, I think once per battle is probably good enough. Plus, most of the battles are short enough where it wouldn't matter. And that would make it so that the warrior is actually decent. Yeah, I'm already sold on this. This idea is great. we need a couple other ideas though. Change harmony to be you heal 2 different allies. So is healing the cleric ever interesting? You gotta do something with shielding, right? Maybe we just have something like the cleric takes less damage as they're at lower life. This is bonkers. I don't know what I was thinking when I did this. Causes Blessing of Haste to increase the healing your party receives for 6 seconds. And what this can stack too, can't it? So you use this 20% faster for 1 second. So you shave off what, 1.4 seconds or something? So then this stacks and you do like 180% of your normal healing, which then stacks with all this other stuff. Okay, there could be, here's what we could do. We could say overhealing gets redistributed to any party members that need it. That could potentially be interesting. Gets redistributed to party members that need it. Yeah, something like that. This would be their new innate. Could be something about overheal giving shield. Yeah, except for that if you end up needing the shield, you'll probably never get overhealed again. This is the problem with the cleric. There's this tipping point where none of your party members are dying versus the cleric can't really keep up and you're like, why did I even put the cleric in my party? So you keep topped up for longer. Yeah, basically. Yeah. And this is where, if this is the innate, then healing yourself is actually really interesting because it's basically like healing an ally. If we do this, then harmony doesn't need to change. And it's effectively like I made the change anyway. Hey, Liquidor. Yeah, it's either nobody is dying or the cleric is dying. Well, it's like nobody's dying or everybody's dying, I think. Does the game have debuffs? Could the cleric remove those? It does not have debuffs, no. Okay, well, I do like this idea. Unfortunately, I think we would need a different graphic for this because I don't think... Well, that one kind of fits. Could use the harmony graphic for this. But then the harmony graphic that we're already using doesn't really make sense. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Figure out the graphics thing. All right, cleric heals for more. So we have all the innates figured out if we do this. And we have one other thing we need to figure out. And ideally it has a shield graphic. Problem with a damage absorption shield, though, is I don't think we have any code that allows for that sort of thing. Actually, something that might be kind of interesting here. What if... Okay, here's what I hadn't thought about. Create a damage absorption shield on the target. This could be an active ability that absorbs like X% of the next attack, rather than being based on the cleric's power. Is resurrection off the table? Yeah, pretty much. What about immunity? Is that different from a shield? Are you thinking immunity as like absorb the next hit completely? Yeah, 0 damage for X seconds. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think that'd be too powerful. But X could be exceedingly short. So yeah, I had never thought of that. All right, it could be invincibility for X seconds. And X could be very short. Okay, that is pretty interesting. Yeah, that is pretty interesting. I'm very I'm very intrigued by this. Like how would you as a player feel if you had a skill like that? Like invulnerable shield, like make target invincible for 0.3 seconds or something like that. And it had a cooldown of, I don't know what, 6 seconds. So it's like 0.3 divided by 6. You're using this 5% of the time. So it's basically like saying make target dodge every attack 5% of the time. Dodge attacks 5% of the time. Something like that. I'm sure I'd get upset about it triggering on the wrong person at the wrong time. Yeah. If the friendly unit is attacked for X duration, they heal instead of taking damage. If a friendly unit is attacked for X duration, they heal instead of taking damage. But that's like even better than invincibility, right? Am I misunderstanding this? Because invincibility is just instead of taking damage, you take 0. The thing you're suggesting. Okay, good. Yeah. All right. As long as I'm understanding it correctly. No, I think that's too much. Sense bad. Are you responding to this, that this is too overpowered? Or are you saying that what Liquidor says is too overpowered? The only thing I know is whoever gets affected by this needs to have its sprite flash. I was thinking we'd render like a shield on top of them or something. In fact, we actually have the shield graphic now that I think about it. We have it in unused. Except for it was a paladin shield. Yeah, this. We could have this show up on the enemy that's got the shield on it. Or the ally that has a shield on it. Okay, I think we should go with that. Yeah. And we can always tweak this a little bit more. But how is it picking the target for this? Is it the last target of the heal? Yeah, that would probably be good. Yeah. This could target the last. It could target the. How about just the ally with the lowest health? Because they're the most likely to die. No, but that's not true. Well, the one who's most likely to be attacked is the one you last healed, probably. Yeah. Or maybe it targets the one you last healed, which was the one that had the lowest health just before this, which probably means they were the one being attacked. It doesn't really matter. I think just the lowest health is probably easiest. Yeah, that way I don't need to clarify anything, because even you as a player understand who has the lowest life. You just look at the life bars. All right, so have we come up with everything? Have we like revamped this character enough? So we're getting rid of this ability altogether. This used to be the healing something cause damage to enemies. That's going to be gone. Claire cannot do damage. We're going to replace it with any overhealing you do gets redistributed to party members that need it. Then this is going to remain the same. So this says when you cast heal on an ally, you also heal yourself. Oh, which means we don't technically have to change Shield of Unity. Because it's basically saying you don't take damage, but because of the new ability we'll have over here that says that you can overheal other, it gets shifted to other characters. It would mean that healing yourself when you're at full is actually still very helpful. Interesting. And then what was the other thing I said I would change? No, that's pretty much it. Oh, this. Resonance. Oh, and I turn this into Desperate Heal. When an ally is at less than... Okay, yeah. Yeah, so, okay. So that's the only question that I have then. So we're going to, like, consider this trio of abilities. Passive. Overhealing is redistributed to party members that need it. And then active heal heals the target. Harmony, or a passive that says when you heal an ally, you also heal yourself. And the other one is you cannot be targeted. And I guess for a quadruple of abilities, remember that the cleric heals allies. So is this something that sounds intriguing? Like, you always have this, but then these are ones you can choose. So would you ever choose this without choosing the one above it? You cannot be targeted. Yeah, maybe just to make sure your cleric's always alive. Yeah, I think that's pretty good, actually. And then would you ever choose this if you didn't have the one below it? Again, just to make sure the cleric's always alive. But then would you ever choose the combination? You could, because of the overhealing being redistributed. So you'd heal 2 allies. You can't be targeted when healing. If you can't be targeted, then healing when healing an ally doesn't matter, right? No, it does because of this first one. Overhealing is redistributed to party members that need it. So if you can't be targeted and you heal yourself, then you're always at full life, which means you're always just redistributing that to other party members. And we could even give that like a little bit of a buff, like you heal even more than you normally heal. Yeah, yeah, I think I like this. And then we'll just save this in our back pocket for sometime in the future, if we ever want that. All right, so let's write this down. Liquidor's idea. Grant an invincibility shield to a target for X seconds, where X is very short, e.g. invulnerable. You target invincible for 0.3 seconds, cooldown 6 seconds. This is 5% mitigation. I understand it, but it seems counterintuitive. I mean, that's already how this worked. And I guess it was not something that many people paid attention to. But this said overhealing does more. This said you couldn't be targeted. And this said you heal yourself. So it basically meant that you would do way more damage with resonant healing. So if you wanted to make a damage build, we gave you the tools. It's just, I don't think anyone wanted to make a damage build. All right, so I think that's how we rework the cleric. And then the only other ability that I'm kind of not totally sold on is this one. Causes Blessing of Haste to increase the healing your party receives for 6 seconds. The way this is framed is it's basically just make it so that after the first 7 seconds of the battle, your party is always getting more healing. And I just don't like that. I don't think it's very interesting. And I think replacing it with a shield is probably more interesting. Oh, and I'll also put this here. We could also use this graphic. We could even use this graphic. Yeah, if you had multiple healing sources, this would be really good. But the only other healing source in the game right now is the Paladin. Although we're going to add a third one, I think I said, in the form of the Spirit Caller. I'm not sold on this one now. Yeah, what if we got rid of this and put the invulnerability shield? I just want that shield. I want the shield to be here. We're already using the shield graphic. I mean, a Blessing of Haste could technically make you invulnerable for like 0.05 seconds. You'd never even notice. The multi-target overheal shield effect seems a bit insane to balance if the healing on all targets, including self-trigger shield. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but I don't think whatever you said is going to happen. So I don't think it's an issue, but I might be misunderstanding. Yeah, I want to get rid of this somehow or change this. And I don't know how to. I think lowering the duration might be more interesting. So it's like when you have haste, you also get more healing. Are you going to ever notice? Is there a better way to do this? Well, let's go right down the summary of the changes. Rework the cleric. I don't feel like there's enough synergy. There's some defensive stuff, healing stuff, damaging stuff, utility. Rebuffing your synergy. Maybe we keep around some of the abilities in case we allow for more than 7 skills per character. Oh, that was an interesting thing. That we could put these in later. Huh. Because we already coded it. It's working. Okay, so concrete tasks. What do we say here? Replace resonant healing with, actually just rework resonant healing. We can still call it that. It should now redistribute healing, overhealing to party members who need it. Okay, that's fine. Now replace Resonance with Desperate Heal. When an ally is at less than X% life, heal them for Y%. This ability can only happen once per battle. We could say X times per battle, Y times per battle. Y would be equal to the level of the ability. When an ally adventurer, can't be just a random ally, otherwise a zombie would get healed. I'll just say when another adventurer. Yeah, something like that. And that was all we had so far. So this is done. This is done. Probably use the harmony graphic. Are all those Y's supposed to be the same number? That was supposed to be Z. My bad. Z times per battle. Z would equal the level of the ability. Yeah. You do this. Harmony doesn't need to change. It's effectively like I made the change anyway. Vulnerability shield. The reactive healing thing could be done. Is there synergy with how all this stuff is written out? Your party would just probably always be at like maximum life. I don't think the reactive thing is a good idea, but I don't like open mind. And I think this needs to be changed. I'm not sure with what. And we could just make a second shield graphic. Or this doesn't have to be a shield graphic at all. This could just be like a person standing there. I don't know. Or like or a bunch of people standing there. Actually, maybe we could just swap the graphics with this. I kind of want to do that. We give Shield of Unity the open mind graphic. I don't think that really makes sense. I want to add in this vulnerability shield. I don't know, we call it like Divine Shield or something. So I said bullet time. So Divine Shield, we say something like make target invincible for 0.3 seconds. Cooldown 6 seconds. Probably need to make this even more than that, maybe like 8 seconds. No, it's gotta be lower than that. It's just the problem is you have haste yourself, so you're granting yourself haste. So whatever cooldown I say here is not actually the cooldown you're gonna have. So if I set it to this, then it's actually gonna go down to like 6 seconds. And maybe you can level this up. X seconds. X is 0.3 seconds, and then maybe like 0.6 seconds. Yeah. That's probably pretty crazy. And then the last thing is Shield of Unity should probably be renamed and get a different icon. How'd the front page go? It went pretty well. I got about 100 wish lists that day. Okay, so are these changes good? We'd be getting rid of any damaging abilities. Yeah, and then should this even be done for the demo? I wonder how much people care about that. I'm going to hold off on this though. All right, we've designed basically everything now in terms of all the characters, right? I don't think we need to rework the warrior or anything. I think they're probably fine. These have been reworked though, whatever I have written down for the cleric. Yeah, here. Note these abilities may have changed. See this issue. Is the rogue good yet? Don't you cap on me. The rogue is great. Yeah, so we have 3 characters we haven't actually implemented yet, but we wrote down all their abilities. And hopefully it is fun. Once they're all in the game. Okay, I think I'm going to call it here. I think it's been pretty good progress. Yeah. And I think on Wednesday we should probably tackle the battle map and the camera text stuff. Tackle text in screen space, but that zooms / positions like it's in the camera. Hey Goose. Yeah, sorry. Hey Onyx. How do you get into coding in software? So I've got a little learn command here that talks about this a little bit. So you want to learn how to program. And I think this is a good read. I think at a high level, it is you pick some way to start. And this blog post talks about that a bit. Then you download the tools for that stuff. Almost always, those tools are going to be free and they're going to be very quick to download. And then you follow some sort of getting started guide or tutorial. And you just see, do I like this? So I highly recommend reading this blog post I wrote. And then from there's like a million different ways you could pursue it. You could go for depth in one particular technology. You could try to tackle a bunch of different technologies. You could try game dev or web dev, or there's so many different realms of things you could try and see what you like. And then sort of tech adjacent things or like programming adjacent things, like, I don't know, cybersecurity, for example, or the opposite of that, I guess, hacking. What else? AI stuff that you could do, any algorithmic creative endeavor like drawing or music. So yeah, I think just get started with whatever seems interesting for you and don't consider too much what's the best way to go about it. Just start. Just can't really go too far off into the wrong path. Let me find someone to raid. There should just be like a raid a random person button. And then I should just walk away from my computer. Let's raid Phil and survive, because I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. I want to head away from my computer right now. All right, I hope you all have fun over there. Liquidor. Thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. I'm gonna get going, and I will see you all later. I'll be back on Wednesday. Bye, everyone.